The movie begins with a couple running for their lives through a forest, completely naked, as someone unknown shoots arrows at them from behind. Eventually, both are brutally killed by the arrows. The killer then arranges their bodies to recreate a famous painting, one that depicts two lovers who were murdered because of their forbidden love. Now, we see another couple, Sage and Diego, arriving at a secluded lakeside mansion they've rented for the weekend. Before starting his new novel, Diego wants to spend a romantic weekend with Sage to rekindle their relationship and close the emotional distance that had recently grown between them. Right at the start, Diego stands naked in front of Sage, jokingly saying, "Why don't we spend the whole weekend like this?" Sage laughs and teases him back about little Diego. The two share a private, intimate moment, but are quickly startled when another couple, Will and Sin, suddenly arrives at the mansion. They explain that they also booked the same mansion for the weekend. The situation becomes awkward, but when they realize the mansion was double booked by mistake, Sin suggests that they could all share it, and if Sage and Diego feel uncomfortable, they can leave. Sage and Diego agree to stay, and the four start spending time together by the lake. During their conversation, Will shares a creepy story about the lake. It's called Bone Lake, because years ago, a pile of skeletons was found at the bottom. He says that back in the 1950s, an unknown serial killer used to dump the bodies of his victims there. Over time, Sage and Sin start opening up to each other. Sin reveals that she and Will have been together for 8 years and have known each other since childhood, but their families never approved of their relationship. Meanwhile, when Will learns that Diego plans to propose to Sage that weekend using his grandmother's wedding ring, he encourages him, saying, "I'm sure Sage is going to say yes." During lunch, Sin smiles and says that she personally knows Diego's favorite author, so she can help him advance his work. Gradually, the four of them become good friends, and while celebrating their new friendship, Will and Sin start kissing right in front of Sage, and Diego, overwhelmed by emotions. Sage later goes to the bathroom and tries to satisfy herself with the shower head, but Diego happens to see her doing it, and smiling, says, "Need any help?" Sage quickly refuses, as if she's not satisfied with him either. At that moment, Sin shows up near Diego, wrapped only in a towel, and asks for help finding her clothes. She says she misplaced her glasses and can't see clearly. At first, she seems normal, but soon, her behavior turns overly flirty. She even, accidentally, drops her towel right in front of him, making Diego uncomfortable enough to leave the room without saying anything. Later, Sin slyly tells Sage that Diego saw her without a towel, saying it in a way that clearly tries to stir up misunderstanding between them. Though it doesn't immediately affect their relationship, both Sage and Diego start feeling uneasy. They can't shake the thought that there's something strange about Sin and Will. Maybe they should have spent the weekend alone instead of with these strangers. That night, Will and Sin make a strange suggestion. Why don't we all open up those locked rooms in the house that have seemed mysterious from the start? Caught between curiosity and excitement, Will cunningly starts unlocking the doors one by one. As soon as they enter the first room, everyone looks surprised and awkward. Inside, they find a sex swing and various sex toys. Diego says they shouldn't mess with any of that, and tells everyone to move to the next room, but the next room turns out to be even creepier. There, they find a Ouija board and newspaper clippings on the wall about the house's owners, a family that mysteriously vanished 15 years ago. Everyone starts to panic, and out of fear, they decide not to open the last room's door and just leave it. The next morning, while Sage is out for a walk, she suddenly spots Will, completely naked, taking a bath outside. Sage feels a bit uncomfortable, but Will smiles and says, "I just love being one with nature," as if he's trying to charm her. Sage, however, walks away. A little later during breakfast, Will surprises everyone again with his sudden behavior. He suddenly pulls out Diego's grandmother's ring and proposes to his partner. Sin really likes his spontaneous way of proposing, but she doesn't know that the same ring and proposal were actually something Diego had planned for Sage. Diego takes Will aside, furious. "What the hell did you just do? That ring belonged to my grandmother. I was going to propose to Sage with it." Will apologizes and says, "Sin's been cheating on me, so I thought maybe if I proposed to her like this, it could save our relationship." pretending to be heartbroken. Feeling emotional, Diego opens up too. In the beginning of our relationship, Sage also cheated on me. She slept with her ex. So, yeah, I get how you feel. Will promises to return the ring before the weekend is over. After that, everyone decides to go buy some groceries for the weekend. Will goes with Sage to the store in town. On the way, he brings up Sin and Diego's past tension again and tries to stir things up between them. Not only that, but Will even lies to Sage, saying, "Diego told me he once saw you pleasuring yourself with a shower head. He's scared that maybe he's not satisfying you sexually." Sage is stunned. She can't understand how Diego could ever say something like that to Will. Meanwhile, Will slowly starts getting closer to her. Back at the house, in Sage's absence, Sin takes advantage of finding Diego alone. She begins sweet-talking him, trying to turn him against Sage. Then, during their conversation, she starts flirting with him, as if she's trying to completely trap Diego in her web. In a flashback, it's revealed that the mansion actually belongs to Will and Sin, and they had planned everything a day before Sage and Diego arrived. When they return, Sage almost falls right into their trap and grows upset and distant from Diego in anger. That's when Sin approaches her, pretending to lighten the mood, and suggests they take some Molly. At first, Sage hesitates, but then agrees. Soon, under the influence of the drug, both of them start dancing and head toward the lake. Suddenly, it begins to rain. The two step into the lake, soaking wet in the downpour. But here, Sage starts to get suspicious. She realizes that Sin can see clearly even without her glasses. That means she might have lied to Diego and manipulated him all along. Meanwhile, back at the house, Diego grows worried when Sage doesn't return and goes out looking for her. But he doesn't find her anywhere. When he asks Sin, she casually says, "She's probably around somewhere, I don't know." Panicking, Diego rushes back to the house, only to find Sage waiting inside. Sage tries to explain something to him, but then both of them are now completely tangled in Will and Sin's trap and begin doubting each other. Their argument and anger escalate. Outside the room, Will and Sin listen to their fight and smile, as if this was exactly what they wanted to happen. But then Diego opens the door, panicked, and says that Sage ran away from the house in anger. He asks Will and Sin to help him find her. They immediately go out, pretending to search. But the truth is, Sage is hiding inside the house the whole time. She tells Diego that she only pretended to be high because she had already suspected that Will and Sin were trying to drive them apart. Diego agrees, saying he felt the same way. They also realize that Will and Sin had stolen the car keys. Diego tries to explain, "I only told Will about the affair rumor. I never mentioned anything about the shower incident." Now they both finally understand that Will and Sin had been watching them through cameras all along. Gathering their courage, they finally break the lock of the forbidden room, the one they were too scared to enter before. As soon as they step inside, both of them are stunned. The entire room is fitted with a camera surveillance system. Every corner is recording their every move. Pictures of Sage and Diego are already on display, along with photos of several unknown couples who were probably prey here before them. They find many tapes, not only of themselves, but also of those earlier couples' private moments. There they also watch Sage's bathroom video. Then Sage notices an old photograph showing Will and Sin standing in front of this very house. Everything becomes clear. This mansion belongs to those two. At that moment, Will and Sin enter the room and reveal the truth. This has all been our game that we play with couples, to test whether they'll prove their love for each other. Sage and Diego bristle with anger and shout that they don't want to play any game, that they're fine as they are, and they just want to leave. Diego asks Will for the car keys. Will and Sin hand over the keys without stopping them, and they drive away. But the game isn't over yet. As Sage and Diego get into the car and begin to pull away, Will suddenly steps in front of them and tells Diego, "When we were outside, I had sex with Sage." He's trying to plant doubt in Diego's mind, but Sage denies it and reassures Diego that nothing happened, and Diego believes her and starts to reverse the car. At that moment, Sin rams into them with her car, knocking them unconscious. When they regain consciousness, Sage and Diego find themselves in the living room, bound with duct tape. Will and Sin reveal their real identities. Their real names are Thomas and Alice Price, and they are actually brother and sister. Sage and Diego are shocked. Thomas and Alice explain that when they were teenagers, they began a relationship the world calls sin. Their parents beat them for it, but they ended up killing their parents and proved that their love is above any rule. Since then, they've been luring other couples here, deceiving them, testing how strong their relationships are, and when the couples fail, Thomas and Alice kill them too. Diego and Sage somehow manage to free themselves from the duct tape and try to escape, but then Sin lunges at Sage with a knife. But Sage quickly grabs a nearby piece of glass and slashes at Sean, managing to escape somehow. The blow leaves Sean's face badly cut, and seeing that, Will goes completely mad with rage and starts chasing Sage. To defend herself, Sage picks up an axe. Will stands right in front of her and taunts her, "If you've got the guts, hit me in the head with it." Then, using a sneaky move, he snatches the axe from her hands. But somehow, Sage manages to escape again. Meanwhile, even though she's injured, Sean attacks Diego and stabs him in the leg. In self-defense, Diego strikes Sean hard on the head, then limps out of the house. He hides under the boat dock and stabs a fire poker into Sean's leg, causing her to scream in agony and get trapped there. Will then charges at Diego with a chainsaw, but just then, Sage appears from behind and, gathering all her courage, swings the axe straight into Will's head. Will stumbles and falls onto his own chainsaw, and within moments, his body is shredded into pieces. Sage and Diego quickly run toward the lake, jump into a boat, and start paddling away. But Sean reaches there too, and tries to attack them again. Furious, Diego chops off her fingers with the axe and then strikes her jaw with full force, nearly separating it from her face. Screaming in pain, Sean falls into the water, and Sage reverses the boat. Sean's body gets caught in the propeller and is torn to shreds. Finally, the two of them manage to strengthen their bond. A while later, in the middle of the lake, Diego takes his grandmother's ring off Sean's severed finger and gently slips it onto Sage's finger, proposing to her. Sage smiles softly and accepts his proposal. They both burst out laughing, looking at each other. But suddenly, in the middle of their laughter, everything falls silent. They talk about how strong people can be, and with that, the movie ends. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you liked it, please subscribe to the channel.